Look closely. The beautiful may be small. I had to deny knowledge in order to make room for faith. One who makes himself a worm cannot complain afterwards if people step on him. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to the understanding, and ends with reason. There is nothing higher than reason. Rules for happiness: something to do, someone to love, something to hope for. For peace to reign on earth, humans must evolve into new beings who have learned to see the whole first. Out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. Seek not the favor of the multitude. It is seldom got by honest and lawful means. But seek the testimony of few, and number not voices, but weigh them. Genius is the ability to independently arrive at and understand concepts that would normally have to be taught by another person. The busier we are, the more acutely we feel that we live, the more conscious we are of life. The death of dogma is the birth of morality. But only he who, himself enlightened, is not afraid of shadows. Space and time are the framework within which the mind is constrained to construct its experience of reality. Have patience a while. Slanders are not long-lived. Truth is the child of time. Ere long she shall appear to vindicate thee. Dare to know. Have the courage to use your own intelligence. The reading of all good books is like a conversation with the finest minds of past centuries. We are enriched not by what we possess, but by what we can do without. Man must be disciplined, for he is by nature raw and wild. Treat people as an end, and never as a means to an end. Act only according to that maxim, whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. How then is perfection to be sought? Wherein lies our hope? In education and in nothing else. There is something splendid about innocence, but what is bad about it in turn is that it cannot protect itself very well and is easily seduced. In all judgments by which we describe anything as beautiful, we allow no one to be of another opinion. Enlightenment is man's emergence from his self-incurred immaturity. Have the courage to use your own reason. That is the motto of enlightenment. Only the descent into the hell of self-knowledge can pave the way to godliness. Morality is not properly the doctrine of how we may make ourselves happy, but how we may make ourselves worthy of happiness. Experience without theory is blind, but theory without experience is mere intellectual play. But although all our knowledge begins with experience, it does not follow that it arises from experience. Nothing is divine but what is agreeable to reason. Nature is beautiful because it looks like art, and art can only be called beautiful if we are conscious of it as art, while yet it looks like nature. All false art, all vain wisdom, lasts its time but finally destroys itself, and its highest culture is also the epoch of its decay. Without man and his potential for moral progress, the whole of reality would be a mere wilderness, a thing in vain, and have no final purpose. Two things fill the mind with ever new and increasing admiration and awe. The oftener and more steadily we reflect on them: the starry heavens above and the moral law within. All human cognition begins with intuitions, proceeds from thence to conceptions, and ends with ideas. Simply to acquiesce in skepticism can never suffice to overcome the restlessness of reason. Beauty presents an indeterminate concept of understanding, the sublime, an indeterminate concept of reason. Human beings are never to be treated as a means, but always as ends. By a lie, a man throws away, and as it were annihilates his dignity as a man. Innocence is a splendid thing, only it has the misfortune not to keep very well and to be easily misled. A categorical imperative would be one which represented an action as objectively necessary in itself, without reference to any other purpose. In every department of physical science, there is only so much science, properly so called, as there is mathematics. From the crooked timber of humanity, a straight board cannot be hewn. Settle, for sure and universally, what conduct will promote the happiness of a rational being. What might be said of things in themselves, separated from all relationship to our senses, remains for us absolutely unknown. Laughter is an effect resulting from the sudden transformation of a heightened expectation into nothing. Woman wants control, man self-control. From such crooked wood as that which man is made of, nothing straight can be fashioned. Never wish to see a just cause defended with unjust means. Innocence is indeed a glorious thing. Only on the other hand, it is very sad that it cannot well maintain itself and is easily seduced. Thoughts without content are empty. Intuitions without concepts are blind. The understanding can intuit nothing. The senses can think nothing. Only through their unison can knowledge arise. Nothing can possibly be conceived in the world, or even out of it, which can be called good, without qualification, except a good will. He who would know the world must first manufacture it. The great mass of people are worthy of our respect. Experience may teach us what is, but never that it cannot be otherwise. Since the human race's natural end is to make steady cultural progress, its moral end is to be conceived as progressing toward the better. And this progress may well be occasionally interrupted, but it will never be broken off. A great part, perhaps the greatest part, of the business of our reason consists in the analyzation of the conceptions which we already possess of objects. You must, therefore you can. A free will and a will subject to moral laws are one and the same thing. The enjoyment of power inevitably corrupts the judgment of reason and perverts its liberty. I express the principle of one's freedom as a human being in this formula. No one can compel me, in accordance with his beliefs about the welfare of others, to be happy after his fashion. The world will by no means perish by a diminution in the number of evil men. It is not without cause that men feel the burden of their existence, though they are themselves the cause of those burdens. A nation is not, like the ground on which it is located, a possession. It is a society of men whom no one other than the nation itself can command or dispose of. Heaven has given human beings three things to balance the odds of life: hope, sleep, and laughter.